Well, hello, and welcome back to the tower. So, I'm starting, which means I need to do my tower homework, which means I need to link stuff, which means I need to do things, which means you need to be patient, and then we have to hope that I remember everything, because sometimes I forget things. Hey, Nick, how you doing? So, first step is the timer is set. Second step is a notification. Music is already on. Music is set to loop. Excuse me. Oh, wow. That was a big one. Okay, I need to bring it up on my other monitor so I can pay attention to it. I need to pop the chat out. Hey, Rocket Man. Hey, Star. How you doing? And then I need to set the chat up because the chat doesn't auto set up. Also, if you can't tell, I reuse the same screen. I need to make a copy of this screen probably for videos. There. Now, as soon as I get set up in my tournaments, I need to go get my tournament food. I got a tournament snack. All right, are we looking good? Yes. All right, we'll start with this. I still feel like bots should be moved somewhere else. Like having them here, like I don't know, I don't like it. We switched to tournament bots. I realized I don't even have to have Flamebot, even though I'm researching them now. I just have everything unlocked. That's a nice thing. We switched to tournament spec. Oh, we need to spend tournament spec. We can't get skips. I think we just save for more skips at this point. I have no cam. Hey, Penguin, how you doing? Hey, Noah, how you doing? I'm sorry, I can read your comment, but I can also not understand your comment. No, I feel like bots should be down here. They should be down here somewhere. They shouldn't be tucked in the event. We need to remember to change our modules this time. So first up, who is first up? Okay, we're gonna put Ohm Chip as the assist. We put Dimcore as the main. And then we put project funding as the main. I meant the stream, Sar. Everybody's looking at the stream. You don't need to see what I look like to look at the stream and say the stream looks good or the stream doesn't look good. Okay, so tournament. Oh, I don't have to do anything with research. But just in case you're wondering, we are researching, so that's good. Did we make it? Almost. And hey, guys, this is the most important part, the store. Don't forget the store. Also, don't forget, creator code Zaerdin. I'll show you how to do it. Zaerdin. You put it in here like this, and then you press confirm. And then you're a hero. Yay, we're supporting Zaerdin. I'm glad I can support myself. Okay, we have 8 minutes left, so I need to get moving. Hey, Ghetto, how you doing? And thank you. I always need luck. Luck is the most important superpower. All right, so one is down, obviously. Well, we're not done yet. Hold on. I don't know, Sar, if you even get a notification. I assume it just, like, disappears. Yes, please also like the stream, guys. That helps out a lot. Liking is free, and so is putting me as your creator code. You should do both. I mean, I'll even accept disliking the stream as long as you use my creator code. Yeah, I just constantly refresh it just out of habit. Plus, I need to show people how to do it anyways. Come on, hurry up. Finish up your skips. I need to start Little Tower. Little Tower is a little bit easier, thankfully. Yeah, I'm assuming it just drops off silently, so that if you're not paying attention, that you just don't like. So you know, we need to make sure everybody like re-ups their creator code like in the middle of the month or something like that. That way it doesn't fall off, because you're not going to get a notification. There we go. Okay, now it's Little Tower's turn. Little Tower is much simpler. So, oh no. How did I? Well, oops. That was a oops. Well, good thing it's only been 3 days of not using the coin card for Little Tower. Okay, now I'm gonna get my tower snack. I got a special snack for the stream. Yes, Nick, I forgot to switch. I don't want to hear it. Managing 2 towers is apparently twice as difficult. Who would have thought? No, I didn't. I recorded the episode yesterday. So it would have shown up in the episode that I forgot my coin card. Oh, sorry, what kind of meatloaf did you have? I love meatloaf. It's bachelor food. Was it right yesterday? Because it was wrong today. All right, Nick, for pedestrians like you, there are different types of meatloafs, okay? You have pork, beef, pork and beef, pork and chicken, chicken, pork, and beef. Oh, nice. I don't like cheese, though. So since Nick is checking, I have to check too, because now I don't know what happened. So it was missing. Yeah, I mean, Nick, I mean, mistakes are going to be made when you have 2 towers. It's twice as much. You know, I don't like Gouda cheese. I don't know, I like meatloaf for the meat. I don't eat cheese. Tomato sauce is good, though. Well, Nick, that just means Little Tower will do better next time. I mean, these mistakes happen, you know? Hey, Anomi, how you doing? What, Nick? Honestly, I probably didn't notice it because I had got Golden Bot unlocked finally. I mean, he's a wimp, but he's there. How do you forget that? Well, Nick, you can always fix it now. It's never too late, man. And good luck, Anomi. Yeah, so throw it on. Get chop chop, Nick. Nick, I can't answer that question without you telling me what lab you're doing now. Oh, Lord, this is spicy. Yeah, but Nick, tell us the labs. Or boss hit, no question. Hey, Clouded, how you doing? Or boss hit is a good lab. Yes, replace or boss hit with Deathwave coins. I mean, Deathwave cells. But Deathwave cells is gonna pump you to the next level. And I hope everybody made it into the tournament because that is the expiration timer. What, Todd? Sorry, what happened? Tower Jr. is about to pump even more. Sorry, what's going on over there? Uh-oh. Nick, don't forget. Oh, okay. Oh, that kind of act. Okay. Nick, what are you going to do before you do your thing tomorrow? You're going to send out a farming run. Just remember to do that. Make us all proud. Well, yes, Nick, but you should already be doing that. But also, you should send out a farming run before you do whatever you're doing tomorrow. Good night, Nick. Thanks, Nick. I wonder how early he's getting up tomorrow. That's right. Maybe one day I can quit my job. Also, make sure to refresh your creator code because it does expire. Oh, well, Bosco and Orem, I wish you guys the best. Damn, Nick, you better get going. It's 3 a.m. You're gonna need a nap, Nick. Hell, I want to take a nap. But I wouldn't do that to you guys, because then you wouldn't get a stream. Good night, Nick. Oh, wow. Look at CF1 go, guys. This is only CF1, by the way. It's already seeming to have a dramatic impact. I haven't yet, Sar. Guys, what's this new swirl my toilet has? I mean, my tower has around the center. Is that CF Plus? Hey, Nathan, how you doing? I don't know. What should I be using, Nathan? Honestly, it was the only one I had, I thought. I mean, it seems better than PRC. So Nathan, if you use a creator code, it's a revenue share, so like some of your purchase goes to me. So it's around like, depending, there's like tiers, I think. Sar, how big do you think my cut is? I am not getting a yacht out of this. There's no way I'm ever getting a yacht out of this. So first off, Sar, even if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't have a yacht. You know why? So a raft, yeah. So I got this thing about boats. Honestly, I wouldn't enjoy a yacht. It's the same thing, like, would I own a Lambo if I had $1 billion? No, I wouldn't own a Lambo. Or a Ferrari, or a Bugatti, no. No private jet either. Yeah, boats are just like, okay. I don't even like cars, Sar. You expect me to get a boat. You know what you do? You befriend somebody that has a boat, and you say, you know what? I'll pay for gas if we go out. Even if I won the Powerball, guys, I wouldn't do it. I also don't like boating. What's the appeal of boating? First, I gotta leave my house, right? Then I gotta haul the boat somewhere where there's water, right? Then I have to get on the boat and take the boat somewhere. You know what I could do instead, guys? I could stay at home and stream. So what, Virus? I'm not in the business of showing off. Virus, I would much rather have a bunker. And I would take my boat money and turn it into a bunker and live in a bunker. And I know you're going to say if you are a billionaire, you can have both. It's the same thing with cars, Virus. I don't care about fancy cars. Like, to me, you know what the real flex is? It's not owning a Lambo. It's not owning a Ferrari. It's having enough money you can pay somebody else to drive you around. Yeah, So yeah, Virus, funny thing is, I always wanted to have a chauffeur when I grew up. Uber has made that dream affordable. So yeah, I Uber places, and I'm like, wow, I've achieved one of my childhood dreams. I never thought this could happen. Oh, I'm confused. I shouldn't do this, but demon mode's up. Alright, never mind, not confused anymore. I mean, you can actually see it now that it's CF1. Also, Uber is a trick, by the way. You know, you want to know how Uber tricked me? Nathan, you make a good point. Maybe I should have used Harmony Conductor. I honestly don't know. Also, my Poison Swamp sucks, but you know. I thought Own Chip gave a little bit of extra multiplier, and that's why I picked it. Dude, you have no idea how excited I was to sell my car and switch to Uber. Because it was like, oh my God, I achieved my childhood dream. Though I will say, you know what Uber makes really apparent? Uber just makes it so apparent how expensive everything is. I got CF1, Nathan. I don't know how much CF is going to help, but I feel like I need it. I miss it. All right, that was spicy. Excuse me. So, Michael, I've been playing for 3 years, 2 months. Sorry if I missed your question. I was trying to finish my snack. At least for me, Nathan, as much as I want to get GT12 and get GT13, and I really want GT12, or sorry, GT13's 14. I have GT12. Once I got GT12, because GT13 is so expensive, I ended up maxing CF slow, which was 2,000 stones. I maxed chain lightning quantity and chance, which was, I don't know, like 1,000 stones. And I got the 6 landmines, which was expensive. Well, let's see what Little Tower actually died first. My mouth is on fire. That was spicier than I thought it was going to be. All right. Thank you, Michael. You have a great evening. Happy farming, man. And good luck to you. Yeah, it's just that GT Plus has become so expensive. Now, if we didn't get the new tier, I probably would have grabbed GT14. Mostly because I was already farming. Oh no. Excuse me. How do you only have GT11? Sorry, you should at least get 12. I put like, I want to say Virus, I put like 50, I bought like 15 levels of it. I sort of regret that because I feel like that would have been better in CF Plus, but you know, it is what it is. It's over and done with. You know, Nathan, this is going to sound weird. I've never played Hollow Knight, and I haven't played Silk Song either. I feel like I need to play Hollow Knight first. I know, Sar. That's why I got Golden Tower 12. I know, Nathan, that probably sounds sacrilegious. Especially since, like, one of my favorite games is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. But you know why I love Castlevania Symphony of the Night? Because you can level up. And you can't level up in Silk Song as far as I know. Nathan, if I was going to do it, I'd much rather play Hollow Knight and then play Silk Song and play them in order. Especially since I've never played Hollow Knight. I feel like that would be more enjoyable. But isn't Hollow Knight more like Super Metroid? Like you can't level up or anything like that? Yeah, but all right, let me explain. Excuse me. Let me ask a question. Oh, I got smoked. 1856, that's actually like a new record. What changed this tournament? Oh, well, this time I used the wrong modules. I mean, I used the right modules. I used the wrong ones last time. Give me a second. You know what? Guys, is today gonna be the day? No! All right, Nathan, let me ask you a different question, because I know the question I'm trying to ask. OC's what? I know, sorry, I didn't slow the game. Hold on, sir, hold on. Well, sir, imagine you have a 10-meter table. And you moved 11 meters between frames. So on one frame, you're on one side of the table. Then on the next frame, you're on the other side of the table, and you never actually collide with the table. Now imagine you cut the game speed in half. Now you're moving 5.5 meters between frames. So on one frame, you're on one side of the table. On the next frame, you're in the middle of the table, and the game is forced to handle the collision between you and the table. Thank you, SAR! Though it's not really necessary for this right now, but you know. What about overcharges? Oh, I probably should have switched to Harmony. I don't know. I tried Harmony Conductor, and it didn't seem like it did anything. Probably because I don't have much of a swamp. I feel like I have to invest in my swamp at some point. Well, that's not good. Oh yeah, overcharges suck. So Nathan, let me kind of rephrase what I mean. So you know in Super Metroid, right? That you can get a maximum of 230 missiles, 50 super missiles, 50 power bombs. You get all the equipment. And once you're at that point, Nathan, you can't get any stronger, okay? Now, when I'm playing like Symphony of the Night, I could level up all the way to 99 if I really wanted to. I can always level my way out of a problem. If like I get stuck at a certain point, you know, my answer can always be I can level. Hey Ned, how you doing? So that's the only reason I hesitate on playing Hollow Knight, because I don't know how hard Hollow Knight is. I'll tell you this, guys. Not because I was considering playing Hollow Knight. But I was like, I played Super Metroid as a kid. It was one of the games I had as a kid. Hand-me-down game. Great game. I assume that the reason I struggled with Super Metroid so much is that I didn't, like, there wasn't, like, a guide or anything for me to follow, right? So I watched some internet videos, and I'm like, oh, man, I'm gonna go in and kick Super Metroid's ass. Now, I will say this. Knowing where all the things were and stuff like that, I really didn't get stuck where I remember getting stuck on a kid, which, specifically as a kid, I remember getting stuck on Dragon, most importantly. And so I just remember getting stuck on Dragon, okay? I don't know why I got stuck on Dragon. I don't know if I didn't have all the upgrades I should have. I don't know that if I didn't understand the right way to play the game. I really don't know. But I do remember getting stuck on Dragon, okay? So, I'll say I went back and I didn't get stuck on anything. Now, to be fair, I had a map, so I knew I had the maximum amount of energy tanks. I went in basically guns blazing. Now, I can't remember if I got stuck on Dragon. Did I go in and fight Dragon with all the upgrades I could have? I don't know if that's true or not, right? Likely I probably didn't, which, you know, obviously just makes it easier, you know, if I go in with Dragon guns blazing. Anyways, I thought, since you can beat Super Metroid in like 3 hours, I thought I was going to load the game up on my emulator and just, oh, I got sniped. I'm doing great, Ned. How did you do? So I am third. Wait, comfortably third. So I loaded up the game. Now, I didn't get stuck. I will say the game kind of sucked until you got the Spazer. And I never really got stuck. But man, oh man, was it frustrating to do some of those inputs. And I didn't understand, like, why the game was... Like, don't get me wrong, I love the atmosphere of Super Metroid. I had to watch like 5 YouTube videos on how to wall jump. I never wall jumped in the original game. Honestly, I only ever beat the original game because I happen to have a turbo controller. And with a turbo controller, you can do this thing called bomb jump. And so that's the only reason I was able to beat the original Super Metroid, was because I was able to bomb jump using a turbo controller. I don't think I would have beat it because I didn't even know that how to wall jump. Anyways, the purpose of me bringing all this up is that if Silk Song or Hollow Knight is like frustratingly hard like that, I'd rather just not play it and watch somebody else play it. If it's balanced in a way that if you actually get all the upgrades, it's not too bad, then I would play it. See, that's the whole thing, Rubber. I don't enjoy difficult. Why do you think I play the tower? Because I don't have to worry. Like, the tower is like my perfect game. It's because it's a management simulator. Can I manage my resources effectively? Do I make good choices? And I mean, I know the answer to both of those is no, but hopefully you see where I'm going with this. Like, obviously I'm not making the right choices. But like this part of the game right here. This right here, right? I'm not trying to aim and fire and do any of that thing. So, that's just why I hesitate, Rubber, because plus a difficult game, it has such a widespread of what people consider difficult. You know what I mean? Like there's such a widespread between of difficulty. So that's the other reason I hesitate. I'm not saying I will never play it. I just, you know, I'm like, I don't want to play a game, Rubber, where I get frustrated. And at least with Dark Souls, you can actually level your way out of any problem, right? Like, you can just level, right? As far as I know with Dark Souls. And the funny thing is, yeah, I hated that fight, Sar. To be fair, Sar, I watched a video on Mega Man X too, And I remember Mega Man X, and I'm like, oh man, I almost beat Mega Man X. I got all the way to the last boss and couldn't beat it. Surely once I watch a video, I'll be able to do that. I will say Mega Man went better than Super Metroid. The last boss was still pain. The last boss was actually such a pain in the ass. I'm like, you know what? This is stupid. I'm using save states. I don't even care anymore. I'll have to consider it, Rubber. I'll consider it. Marie and I actually have a big stream event, though, we have planned, though. And it's not about Hollow Knight, and it's not about Silksong. I can't reveal too much yet because we're trying to, we got to get some things in our video game lives in order before we do the big streaming event. And I don't know how big the streaming event's going to be. See, Robert, my thing is, I just want, like, if I'm playing a game like Hollow Knight, I want to be able to I want to be able to get kitted out with gear and have so much gear that the bosses are balanced around you, like, not finding everything. You know what I mean? So, like, if there's, like, 100 health upgrades, the boss might be balanced around you having 75 or whatever. You know, a less than the max. And I realize also as a Metroidvania, like, that doesn't, like... balanced around what doesn't mean a lot, because obviously like I can talk about Super Metroid because I know that people can get so good at Super Metroid they do a 14% run. A 14% run is the bare minimum amount of items you need to beat the game. Obviously, I'm never in my life going to ever attempt a Super Metroid 14% run. But it is actually beatable with that small amount of equipment. You know, honestly, the funniest thing to me is I watch all these runs and I'm like, wow, this is so backwards from how I played games. You guys want to know how I played games? Like a game like Super Metroid, and I actually consider Legend of Zelda the same. Obviously, Legend of Zelda is not the same, but it's in the same vein. To me, the importance of these games was to have as much gear as possible before you fought the boss. So in like the Legend of Zelda, if I could pick up 8 hearts before I guess the better one's the first Zelda. If I can walk into the first dungeon with 5 hearts, the white sword, the magic shield, the blue ring, etc., 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 I am supposed to, as a player, go through and get all the gear I can before even attempting the first level, because I should have all the upgrades I can get. But that's just me. And that is how I played the first Legend of Zelda. The second, not really the second one, because by the time I got the second one, it was like somehow the second one I didn't know about. I played it later on an emulator. It was okay. The one game I missed as a kid that I wish I would have known about was Final Fantasy. I didn't know about Final Fantasy until Final Fantasy 2. I didn't know about the original Final Fantasy. I played the hell out of Dragon Quest 3, though. Actually, you know, guys, I don't know if you guys saw that Tim Kaine did a thing on Respecs. Anybody see that video from Tim Kaine on Respecs? Oh. Uh-oh. What do I pick? It was new. The first Final Fantasy was. It was Final Fantasy 2 and 3 that weren't released. Then we got Final Fantasy 4. We didn't get Final Fantasy 5, which Final Fantasy 5 is such a baller game. I'm kind of pissed that Square didn't release it here. And we got Final Fantasy 6 and Final Fantasy 3. And Marie and I actually have played Final Fantasy. We didn't play Final Fantasy 1 together. We played Final Fantasy 2, 3, 4, and 5 together. And it was amazing. It was amazing because she read all the female voice lines and I did all the male voice acting, and we had so much fun doing it. Oh, rubber, that's really weird. So that means your health is like always like a yin yang kind of thing, always going up, down, up, down, up, down. That's a lot of missiles. Mines. That just sounds wild, Rubber. And to be fair, New, Final Fantasy II, for all the hate it gets, Final Fantasy II is an awesome freaking game. I don't understand why Final Fantasy II gets so much hate. Final Fantasy II is basically the Skyrim of Final Fantasies, because you level up your skills based on how you use the skills. And if you use the skills against certain monsters, they have like a limit, right? I don't understand the hate of Final Fantasy II. I played it. Well, I do understand some of the hate. I will say that the game is hella freaking grindy when it doesn't need to be for magic leveling. Like, magic leveling actually legitimately felt so bad. Hey, Gail, how you doing? Gail, I showed it in the video. Did you not watch the video? But I'll show it again here. So Little Tower is at 20 billion. Big Tower is at 15 quintillion. But you must have missed the last episode because I showed it there. And like, I just don't understand why people hate Final Fantasy II. Like, yes, is it a little too grindy? Absolutely, because Maria and I, before we went to the last dungeon, we had to grind some of the magic. Because you need to have the magic up to at least level 8 to dispel like a lot of the effects, the status effects. And on top of that, there's two whatchamacallit. Hold on, it'll come to me in a second. There's two different, like, there's not like Asuna that cures every status effect. They have like two different Asunas. One is like in battle Asuna for certain effects that only last in battle. And then there's the other, it's like Basuna. And then there's Isuna, which is all of the out of battle effects. So it is sort of weird like that. So, but the only grinding we really had to do. Gale, I just randomly decided to farm tier 5 on Little Tower. Just random. And we're not farming tier 20 on Big Tower. We're doing a push trying to unlock tier 21. I've never played Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter. I played the original Breath of Fire. I played Breath of Fire 2. Breath of Fire 2, awesome. I always got the chef because you could craft stuff with the chef. Chef was awesome. Loved it. Always got the chef. Damn it, I got sabotaged to death. All right, we try again. We're trying to get to wave 300 on tier 20 to unlock 21. And I mean, like, and Gale, like for Little Tower, I just decide randomly on what to do. Like, I don't have like a set thing. I was just like, well, tier 4 is going okay. How will tier 5 go? And I do some tier 5 runs, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it's good. We'll just keep doing tier 5. So not really a lot of, oh, damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it! I'm an idiot. Oh, well. What made Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter so hard? Because I played 1 and 2, and then, like, I don't remember what happened to the Breath of Fire series. Like, I lost track of it. The hardest game I think I ever played, though, was 7th Saga. And I never beat... I don't think I ever beat 7th Saga. Without Game Genie. I think I beat it with Game Genie. 7th Saga was the hardest goddamn game. Wait, the mobs don't respawn new? Are you serious? That sounds like insane. Like, how can you level if the mobs don't respawn? Christian, how you doing, man? Everybody say hi to Christian. Yeah, I definitely missed Dragon Quarter new because that's Breath of Fire 5. I think Breath of Fire was just one of those games I lost track of, though I loved Breath of Fire and Breath of Fire 2. Played the hell out of both of them. Especially Breath of Fire, I think the first one. Even though, like, Breath of Fire was sort of a weird game in the sense that Ryu turns into the dragon, or Rue, or whatever his name is, and then you beat the boss by doing it in dragon form every time. Like, there was no, like, the gameplay was, oh, we're at the boss. Okay, Rue, turn into the dragon. Okay, kill the boss. Okay, boss is dead. So, like, bosses, like, in that game were, like, extremely weird because it just seemed like, okay, you turn into the dragon form, and I mean, that's the whole thing about Breath of Fire, you turn into a dragon, and your dragon form was so strong that you just killed the boss. At least that's how I remember it. Wow, okay, I'm reading about the... Hey, Mike, how you doing? Have you started playing again? Hey, Flying, how you doing? So, new, I'm reading about this game. And the dragon counter system, it... Oh, Sarah likes music. You don't like this, Christian? You want something else? I can give you something else, hold on. This is a little more chill for you? No, we're not watching Star Wars. We're watching The Tower while I talk about Breath of Fire. No, that was, Wagner. It's Wagner. It's, I don't know what it's from. What's it from, Sar? Well, Christian wanted something else, Sar. I'm gonna let him have something else. Mike, I just hold out hope in my heart that you come back one day, and I know that sounds ridiculous because I know you were like super addicted, but I just hope you come. I know you probably shouldn't come back, but I hope you come back. I'm gonna say this, new. This sounds like the most ridiculous, most terrible mechanic in any video game I've ever played. This seems like the absolute most garbage mechanic I've ever seen. Like new, you couldn't even describe it to me because like the description of what you're doing, it's like, why would a video game ever have this? This seems stupid. Like new, this like seems like it undermines the fundamentals of the game. Like what's the point of this? I mean, this is the most because like you can't level, right? You can't level with this mechanic. I didn't have much of a choice there. So you can't level up with this mechanic. That means like the game, like this just sounds like the game just sucks. Like, this seems like the stupidest mechanic ever. Yeah, Rubber's living the good life now. You got the gem stack too, Rubber? This is just seems like the stupidest thing. So we're talking about Breath of Fire, Dragon Quarter. Well, apparently new. There was a restart mechanic called Soul Restore. There was Soul Restore and Soul Restart. Soul Restore would let you restart from your last save, and I don't know what you kept. And then there was Soul Restart, which lets you restart from the beginning of the game with all your levels. So, I mean... Apparently knew the way to play the game. I mean, that's what I'm reading a guide. I went to GameFAQs. Damn it, 233. I'm reading a guide. I went to GameFAQs, and there was apparently Soul Restore and Soul Restart. Soul Restore returns you to your previous hard save, and Soul Restart started the game over. And there was some kind of item locker system where you could put all your items in a locker and basically would store all your important items, do the restart, and then basically start the game over. So it kind of had like built-in New Game Plus, which is kind of interesting. And if you use the give up option in the menu, you kept all your party XP and all your money. So you could technically, if you got in a bad spot, you could restart, keep all your XP and all your money. I still don't, let me be very clear, Anu, I still don't like the system. But at least it had a way around it. Because I assume, like, if you start the game over and you're level, like, 20 instead of level 1, you can cruise at least through the beginning of the game. Christian's in-game name was Christian. Oh, you're on a cell phone. Yeah, you can't hold F4 on a cell phone. Hey, Mateus, how you doing? I actually had a chart somewhere, Mateus. No, he didn't say he was. I couldn't find it either. I had a picture of it. Mateus, I would recommend... Mateus, I would recommend this. You fill out effective paths. Now, effective paths is confusing as hell to fill out, but I will tell you the recommended way to do it. First, Mateus, make a copy of the 8 or 9 spreadsheets that you need to fill out. Maybe it's 10. Let's see. 3, 6, 9. Okay, 13. It's 13 spreadsheets, Mateus. You fill all those out, okay? It will take about an hour, but I'll tell you some secrets. On the master sheet, you don't fill anything out. On the effective path sheet, you don't fill anything out. On the master sheet, all you do is link all the other sheets to it, and then every sheet derivative from the master sheet should have a couple sheets marked with red that you fill out. It sounds like the worst part to fill out, I'm going to tell you right now, is the relic system. So, you know, you don't necessarily need to fill out the relic system for what you're trying to do, but it's, you know, that's up to you. I don't know what else to tell you because I don't even remember where that sheet was. I don't know that it's in here. I'll check the ultimate weapon sheet because that's what I would imagine where it was. Oh yeah, sorry, it is. Sorry, Mateus, it is right there. The spreadsheet you need is in effective paths. It's a tab on the ultimate weapon sheet, and it's GT plus / GT duration. And all you do is plug all the numbers in there, and you're good. And it has the chart. I'm an idiot. I didn't even look. Damn it. So, Mateus, if you search for this guy named Tags, he has a walkthrough of how to do it. The most important thing I will tell you is link all the spreadsheets together first. It's going to be 13 spreadsheets. Get them all linked together first and make sure you label them something that makes sense, right? Don't just leave it as copy of. Label them all as something that makes sense to you. That would be my top recommendation. But there is a calculator in the Ultimate Weapon spreadsheet, and that was the sheet I was using without knowing it. If you just copy the Ultimate Weapon spreadsheet, there is a GT plus versus GT duration thing. And bizarrely, it suggests that you grab GT 14 with only 54 seconds of total duration, which to me is bonkers. Never in a million years would I have guessed that it would be that soon. Like, duration, like, doesn't matter nearly as much versus GT level. I guess GT Plus just scales super hard. Basically, if you have more than 54 seconds of duration, Mateus, you can go all the way to GT 14. Like, that's the long and the short of it. 44 seconds is GT 10. Duration does matter. Duration does matter because the more duration you have, the higher the multiplier goes, right? Duration gives you more time to get the multiplier. But what this spreadsheet is telling me is that GT Plus in and of itself is so much more powerful than the multiplier that the duration really doesn't matter that much. And again, I would recommend, if you're at 51 seconds, you can go all the way up to GT 12. That's what the spreadsheet's saying. That GT 12, you should have 50 seconds of duration. That's at least what the spreadsheet is saying, which to me doesn't... Again, I would recommend you actually plug your numbers into this calculator. I don't know how true this is, and I will give you the caveat that I am looking at this with my effective paths is done with Little Tower. So that, just take it with a grain of salt. I would highly recommend you plug your own numbers into this calculator. But from what I'm looking at, with 51 seconds, you can take GT Plus all the way to plus 12. Which sort of seems kind of wild to me. I was expecting it to be higher. So basically what this is saying for Little Tower has 22 seconds of GT duration. Okay? It's saying that I am good on Little Tower to go to GT plus 1. Obviously, that's not even the realm of reason for Little Tower, but, you know, just suspension of disbelief. We're all happy to see you, Christian. It's great to have you around, man. I hope everything's going well. I'm gonna link you the guide I looked up. Soul. I mean, not Soul. Sorry, that's the system. New. Sorry, New. Your brain scramble. Like, New, I will say the system is convoluted, and it does seem like if you didn't understand this option, that you're just screwed. Like, if you didn't understand you could do this, yeah, the game seems like a nightmare. But, like, knowing about this system and how you can reset it, it doesn't seem... I still don't like the system, but it doesn't seem as bad. Oh, nice, Mateus. You gotta get those coins, man. Hey, Shinobis, how's it going? What, Christian? You don't like Christian? Here's the secret as an American for water. Put ice in it. All right, Christian, you have a good nap or sleep, whichever it is. It was great to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. And just keep your head up, man. You'll beat this, man. One day you'll be back. It doesn't sound nearly as bad. I linked you the guide, by the way. I pinged you and linked it to you in Discord. Don't worry, Christian. We're all rooting for you, man. Good night, Christian. Dude, this system still sounds nuts new. Hey, Cuxon, how you doing, man? Oh, it's late, Cuxon. I bet it's late as hell. Oh, what can I get? Do I dare? Oh, no problem, Mateus. Let me know how it works out for you. Do I dare try this one, guys? Or do I go with the safe option? Which there is no safe option. I guess I choose this. I don't know. There's nothing. I'm not feeling the risk. I'm not feeling the risk. I'm hoping so, Shinobis. I got Primordial on Little Tower, so we're gonna see how Primordial works out for him. Hey, Casey, how you doing? Wait, which Star Ocean is that? Because you knew I was playing one of the Star Ocean games, and then I stopped, and I need to finish it still. It's weird because I stopped right after like the big twist, right? Well, never mind. I got crushed. We retry. I will not be doing Devo, Casey. How dare you say that? I don't do Devo. I am anti-Devo. I'll be right back. I want to wash my hands. Oh, yeah. I got third over here, which is great. I remember to use the right modules this time. I got third last time, too. Yeah, Devo's too much work. Like, I want a fun tower game, not a work tower game. Like, if I do Devo, it's going to be because Little Tower got the damage slider, which is okay. Third is great, and Little Tower got 20th, so... he did get 22 stones, so he got 2 extra, 10% more. So Little Tower is just chipping away at things. Is that... Oh, wait, that's PlayStation 2. So that's not the one I was playing, because I was playing Star Ocean the Second Story. That's right. Which, Star Ocean the Second Story, like... The story's wild in that game. Okay, see, I was like, damn. They want to punish me. No, Big Tower completed the Death Defy mission. I'm trying to push and unlock tier 21, Shinobis. That's what we're trying to do here. The Death Defy mission for Big Tower is like a joke. I'll get like on a good farming run, Shinobis, I'll walk away with like 15 Death Defies. On a good one. This is strictly trying to get tier 21 unlocked, because if I could get tier 21 unlocked, Shinobis, I can get the workshop discount labs, hopefully. If I can get the workshop, I mean, if you have do you have a module, Shinobis, with Ancestral Death Defy on it? If I can get to tier 21 Shinobis, if I can get to, no, I don't even care about the reroll chart. I want the workshop plus discount. They did new, and they took basically the rework from the PSP and they put it on PC, and it's on Steam, and I bought it and I streamed it, and I got like halfway through the game. But I'm at the point in the game now, where I have to fight the menu boss because I need to do a bunch of like crafting and stuff like that for everything. And I just haven't done it. Well, if you got Ancestral Sharp Fortitude, Shinobis, you can get 5% Death Defy. But you probably don't want to roll for that. Given what you just told me, you probably don't want to go rolling for that. Don't spoil it for me, Rubber. I haven't done it. I haven't played that one. I played the PlayStation one. I might play it one day. I don't know when. New, they have Dragon Quarter on PC. Oh wait, never mind. It's vote to bring. Never mind. It's a vote to bring the game. I'll vote, I guess. I have to log in. Never mind. That's the end of me wanting to vote. Sadly, new, you can only play it on an emulator, so that kind of kills my desire to play it. Yeah, but so Shinobi's OAuth works, but I don't want to link my Google account to GOG. Oh, so Virus, these are my tournament coins, and I'm saving my tournament coins for extra skips for ELS. For extra ELS plus is what I should say. Okay, thank you, Rubber. I appreciate it. Except I know there's a twist now, which is, you know, ruins everything for me, Rubber. I don't want to know that there's a twist, because then I know there's a twist. It's at the end, new, if you go all the way down to the end, it talks about how to reset it with the soul restart and the soul restore. It seems like such a bizarre game. But it's sort of new. It reads like it has built-in New Game Plus, which is kind of cool. Because basically what the game says is you can just max out your D-Wave. Nobody knows what FUDs meant. That's the whole problem, Shinobis. Nobody knows what FUDs meant. Everybody's angry about that. Nobody knows what he meant. I mean, you know, the thing is, I will say this, Nu, the bad thing about Star Ocean Second Story was you basically had to play the game with a guide because of the private action system being so cryptic. But I gotta go. I want to wash my hands and I need to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. And by cryptic, I just mean there was no indication of when to do a private action. So you basically had to follow a guide unless you went to every town after everything you did. Hey Gail, I'm not farming. We're trying to push. You need to get to wave 300. I still haven't gotten to wave 300. Got unlocked tier 21. Dude, if it was that virus, it'd be crazy. It'd be absolutely nuts if that was it, virus. You know, Casey, you know what the funniest thing about this is? You know what they said? Oh, the content took longer because we tested everything. And then we get this, and it's like so obvious they didn't. Virus, I don't think they could make it a coin amp for anything that dies in it. I don't think that would work. Because they already reworked Black Hole to just be anything that touches it, so it'd have to be something like anything that touches it. What other mods do you run, New? Rubber, you know how we had that summer sale? Now, I want to be clear, I have no proof of this, but allegedly, some people were able to buy 31 packs instead of 3. I don't know how true that is because we know people did it with the Black Friday and you'd think they would have fixed it. Oh, no, Casey, we had a summer sale. Did you miss the summer sale, Casey? I don't know how true it is, Rubber. I just heard that and I laughed. Shinobi, the emails do not tell me who bought anything. They just tell me you made a sale. They would never tell me who's purchasing. So I did get a lot of emails when people bought stone packs when they went live. So I was like, holy crap. Dude, I was not prepared. Because I got so many emails about stone packs and the event pass. So thank you guys so much for using my creator code. And remember, it's creator code Zaerdin, Z-A-E-R-D-I-N. Thank you. Well, you can always tell me how much you bought. I don't know if you want to reveal that information. Yeah, it's kind of wild, Casey. Wow, thank you, Virus. Yeah, yeah. Virus, I actually wonder how this company works. I think it's like 7 point something I get, which is a weird amount. It used to be like for Idol Slayer, for me on Idol Slayer, it's based on how big my audience is. So I get 5% there. But I think the tower just said, okay, if you're a creator, we just give you the max, which I think is like 7% or something, which is crazy. And I think they do some kind of rounding too. All I know, dude, is I'm thankful. Maybe one day I'll actually be able to go full time streaming and just, I mean, wouldn't that be a dream? Only things were that simple, Shinobis. Well, we'll keep trying. Virus, I don't know. She lives in Finland. I live in the United States. It's complicated, man. Like, that's the biggest thing, is her family's over there, my family. Oh, damn it, 245. To be fair, we did get married in Final Fantasy. I don't know if that's legally binding. It's Shinobi's, it's more like my family and her family. Like, I help my mom out with stuff. You know, how would we, like... I honestly don't know, Casey. I just keep... Like, to me, just like from we've seen on these runs, it's so random. Sometimes I die on wave 100. Sometimes I make it to 240 to 245. It's all luck. Yeah, I wouldn't have to... Well, funny that you mentioned that, Rubber. She doesn't have air conditioning, okay? So she actually sweats more than I do in the summer. Family's just what makes it hard. Her family's over there, obviously, and my family's here, and like... I feel like that's the biggest obstacle, right? Like, how do you navigate that? It sounds easy on paper, right? You just, you know. But we have, like, her mom's older, my mom's older. Yeah, she doesn't have AC. I have air conditioning in Florida, so my summer is better than hers, believe it or not. Like, the wild thing about that is she will be sweating in her apartment, and I'll be like, Maria, where's your air conditioner? And I keep telling her she needs to get an air conditioner. She keeps telling me, no, I don't need an air conditioner. I'm like, yes, you do. It's only gonna get hotter. I'll be right back. I'm gonna wash my hands again. I made a mess. Rubber, I told her to get one. I told her to get a window unit. I told her. I have this discussion with her every summer. I'm like, you gonna get a window unit, Maria? No. Actually, she doesn't sound like that. That's not a good impression of her, but it's... No. That's probably more closer to her. I'm like, Maria, you need to get an air conditioner. No, I don't. And I can't win. Because her summers are miserable. Never in a million years would I have thought I had nicer summers in Finland, but it's all thanks to my central air conditioning system. Oh, she's gonna get an air conditioner one day, Nu. You just wait. Honestly, Nu, I just don't understand how she doesn't just buy a portable one, right? Because, I mean, just sitting, like, she would tell me, she's like, yeah, I'm, like, there was one summer. Well, the thing is, like, I can't just get her a portable air conditioner. Like, if I could just buy her a portable air conditioner unit and she would install it, Shinobis, I would have done it already, right? That would be like a no-brainer. Like, here, I give you the gift of air conditioner, now you love me forever, right? Total win there, right? The hard part, Shinobis, is she doesn't want to do it. And it was so bad one summer, she wasn't able to sleep because it was so hot. And, like, I convinced her to put her sheets into the freezer. And so she put her sheets into the freezer. And then she came home and took them out before bed. And she was like, oh my God, it was so cold until I warmed the sheets up a little bit, and then it was so nice. Well, Shinobi, she's worried about the energy cost of air conditioning. Which, honestly, I don't feel like the energy cost of air conditioning is that expensive. Like, not expensive enough to worry about. Especially if you're just running it to, like, you know... Like, I'm not gonna lie. I keep my air between 65 and 70, and I do not care that it's expensive because I have a small apartment. That's one of the reasons, like, I didn't want to get a house. Like, it sounds bizarre. One of the reasons I don't want to own a house is because a house is freaking huge compared to my apartment. And I wouldn't be able to keep the entire house at that temperature, you know what I mean? And then I wouldn't use the majority of the house. And you would think, you'd be like, you just close up the ducts. And it doesn't work like that. Because, well, it does work like that if you have really good ductwork. But for most houses, the ductwork isn't good enough. So when you close vents off, it just air conditions the attic. Yeah, I pay about half that, if that much. I probably hit $200. But, you know, there's certain precautions, Shinobis, I take. I have blackout curtains on every window. I have, you ever heard of a space blanket? I read about this trick with a space blanket. And basically you put a space blanket in your window. And because of the way it is, like the way the space blanket works is like mylar foil, it not only reflects the light, it reflects the heat. So what I went on Amazon, Shinobis, I went on Amazon and I looked for a mylar tarp. Okay, so I live in an apartment complex. So I have, the apartment complex has blinds. So the blinds are what's outward facing. I then have a tarp attached to the back of the window. And I will kid you not, it takes all the heat out. It's amazing. And then the tarp looks kind of weird. Like, I showed Maria my room with the tarp up. She didn't like it. So when I moved, I changed it. And so I made it you know, because I can't have foil where they can see it, right? So I have the outside looking ones that are the vertical blinds that they give us, right? Then I have the tarp down, and then I have the blackout curtains on top of it. And I still need the blackout curtains because even with just the mylar tarp, it wasn't blocking enough of the light. And if you know anything about me, you know I want to be in the pit of darkness. What's the shrink wrap plastic do? 20 windows. Jeez, man, that's a lot of windows. Shinobi's, one of the more interesting things I saw was there was this window, and I don't remember how it works. And you would actually fill the window with sand, and the sand would block out the light and obviously the heat too. Just gotta throw things at it. Oh, okay, so you use the air as an insulator. You know what, Shinobis, you're right. The one thing I wish I had was an awning. I did so much research, and I'm like, why am I trying to block the sunlight from the inside of my house? Why don't I have an awning that just keeps the sunlight outside from the first place? I looked into that. I was going to build an in-ground house. I looked into that. The issue becomes moisture. There's actually two issues with that, Shinobis. The issue is moisture is number one, so you have to have a dehumidifier in every room. And the second issue is, not that I think above ground house builders are really good at their jobs, but there's nobody that's good enough to build a house like that. Again, I guess if you're winning the lottery, you can probably, you know, fix that problem with money by going to someone and being like, I'm willing to pay a premium to make sure you actually do it right. But I wanted to live in one of those concrete domes. For the longest time, I wanted to live in a dome house. Because I did all this research, and it's like, oh wow, you know, a dome house like just makes so much sense, right? You don't have a roof, you don't have to worry about the roof. The roof is a concrete dome. It's an arch, super strong, immune to all the, you know, immune to hurricanes is like relative, right? But you don't have a roof. It doesn't have your roof doesn't have like eaves, so it can't rip the roof off your house, you know, because it's a dome. And I was obsessed with this idea of building a dome house. Really wanted to do it. And then I started looking for builders, and I would watch these people build like the dome house, and I'm like, this is terrible. This looks terrible. I would never trust living in this thing. And that's when I realized, because everybody builds with concrete block, that I either have to pay a huge premium to get a guy that can build a dome, or I just need to get a regular house, you know? Apparently sand blinds are a thing at Home Depot. Dude, I would love to live in a dome. The thing is, what I realized was, Rubber, when I was looking into it, I realized the biggest problem... Hey, Arctic, how you doing? Yes, I have two towers now. This is Little Tower, and this is Big Tower. The biggest problem I looked at when I was looking into it, Rubber, is because all our houses are square, all our furniture is square, right? So if you wanted to put a square desk against a curved wall, you lose a lot of space that way. So really what you would need is a piece of furniture that matches the curve of the wall, so that you could slide it back, and then it would just... And the nice thing is, if you have a desk like that, it kind of wraps around you, right? So I think it would be really cool. But, you know, now you're getting into, not only do I have a custom weird dome house, now I have custom weird dome furniture. I don't think my monitors would need to be curved, but I would want the desk to be curved, because then it could sit back correctly, you know? If you use a square desk, it's always going to fit awkwardly. Will this be the run with the double chain lightning damage? Yeah, it won't be too bad. It depends, of course, on the arc, like the rate of change of the arc too. I don't know what the proper word for that is, because if you have a large house and so that the amount, you know, the arc in your room doesn't change a lot, it's not going to be a big deal. But that was the biggest thing, Shinobi. I was looking for somebody to build it, like a reputable builder, just out of curiosity, to try and get like is this like financially viable if I'm not a gazillionaire kind of thing. And that's when I realized, like, there's so few people that do this. And it's weird to me too, because like building a dome house should theoretically be easy, right? You basically you have what's like a plastic house that you basically fill up. It's like a balloon. You kind of blow air into it to fill it up, right? And then with that, once you fill that up, you then build rebar around it. And then once you have the rebar around it, then you start spraying it with shotcrete. And that's how you kind of build the dome. Yeah, I think that sounds right. The distance per arc second or something like that. And I was looking at it, and like everything looks super cool. And the nice thing is, with a dome house, it is so sealed. It's technically easy to, I wasn't, the thing is, Rubber, I wasn't, maybe I just found the wrong people. I wasn't impressed. Hey, Golden Time, this is The Tower. This is a game on Android and iOS. And this is the game, and this is Big Tower over here, and this is Little Tower over here. Little Tower is a newer tower. I've been playing this game for about 3 years. Damn it. Well, maybe we can hold on. Oh, that was for Golden Time. Oh yeah, it's Gunite. Gunite and Shotcrete, I thought, Noah. I don't know, it's been a while since I looked into it. Basically, you blow up a balloon like an outline, you line it with rebar, and then you spray the concrete on it. And you have to spray the concrete. The concrete's basically like additive manufacturing. So you're basically adding layer after layer like that. Hey, Clasher, how you doing? Clasher, are you Lewis? Or are you different, Clasher? I kind of gave up on the dream, guys. Oh, okay, that's all cool, man. What, Arctic? Did you guys hear the news? What is synthetic rebar? Educate me on synthetic rebar, because I only know regular rebar. Yeah, I gave up on the dream. so it's fiberglass. So it's like the, you know how they make the concrete with the fiberglass fibers in it? How strong is the fiberglass compared to regular rebar, Shinobis? This is new information to me. Oh, okay. Oh, really? No, Clash, I've been streaming for almost 2 hours. We already did the tournament. You missed out on the tournament. I put a notification in Discord, Clasher. I don't know if you have the streaming role. If you want the streaming role, let me know. That is a great question. There's allegedly concrete, which is the graphene reinforced concrete. I don't know how to answer that question, Golden Time. Like, it's a computer with a monitor. It's nothing fancy. No, it's called concrete. At least, I don't know. I don't know how good it is. I got 3 monitors, Golden Time, and I got I got a TV behind me, and so that's like, I guess, 4 monitors. Oh, well, it's patented, Arctic. They did it and patented it. I don't know how good it is. Like Golden Time, can you be a little bit more specific? Like, I don't know how to answer that question. It's like I got some monitors and a monitor behind me, and you know, that's it. A keyboard and 2 keyboards and 2 mice. I don't know. It's just like, to me, it's the standard loadout, right? You have for most things. I can see if I can find a representative picture. This is actually pretty close to the one I'm going to link. And they're probably patenting the thing to combine the ingredients, if I had to guess. Like, there's probably some kind of special way you have to mix them together. So it's similar to this. I'll post a picture. It's similar to that, except 3 monitors on the bottom. You might not be able to use a conventional mixer, is what I'm trying to say, Shinobi. There might be a different way to... Again, I don't know how graphene works. I don't know how... but I would assume there'd be... Except, so the one difference between this is, number 1, I don't have posters on the wall. Number 2 is I don't have a door to the left of me. Number 3 is the monitor up top is not tilted towards me. Number 4 is the monitor up top is a 55-inch TV. That looks to be like a 42-inch TV. I used to have a 42-inch. It died, and so I upgraded to 55. I won't say I regret going to 55, but I wouldn't go higher than 55. 55 is absolutely enormous. And I only paid $500 for the 55-inch TV, which like blows my mind away. And then instead of the 2 monitors like that, it's 3 monitors, but there's a monitor in the center. So that's... It wasn't like the monitors I've been using are so old. They're from 2017 or something like that. I probably need to get new monitors at some point. Yeah, Golden. I'll send it out in a second. Golden, do you play the tower or? Let's see. What games do you play, Golden? Nick had to go to bed, Clasher. He was he had to get up early. Oh, okay, cool, Golden Time. So what are you doing in the tower? Dude, Arctic. Oh, okay, you never watched the tower. Okay, well, what other games do you play? Dude, Arctic, I go to Costco, right? There is a 98-inch TV. Does anybody want to guess how much the 98-inch TV was? Oh, no, not $500. It hasn't got... Yes! I think it's $1,600, Virus, but yes! I couldn't believe it. $1,600 for a 98-inch TV. I was looking at, like, I wasn't seriously looking, but as a joke, like, during the pandemic. I don't know if you guys remember those memes where the guy has a really big TV and nothing else. And so I was looking to see. Yeah, it's the TCL one. I had to take a picture of the cost and send it to my dad. Because I could not believe it, dude. That thing, it was like when I saw it first, it was $2,000, and I'm like, dude, this is like $20 an inch. This is like such a so to rewind the clock a little bit. This is during the pandemic, okay? So during the pandemic, I was considering getting a second TV, okay? I had found a TV cart that was like $500 because I can't mount it on my wall. I live in an apartment. And the maximum size it supported was 83 inches. So I don't know about that meme of a girl coming over to a guy's apartment and seeing that all he has for furniture is like a chair and a 75-inch TV. And I wanted to be that meme. Not that I was dating or anything, but I just thought it was hilarious, right? And so when I was looking for this, I found an 83-inch TV. Okay. The 83-inch TV was $3,000 to $5,000. I want to say it was $5,000. And now I can get a 98-inch TV for under $2,000. It's insanity. I took a picture of the price because I wanted my dad to buy it for himself. Because all my dad does is watch TV. And he watches my YouTube videos. And also TV, though. And I was sitting there thinking, like, dude, You might as well get the 98 incher. My dad has a house, so yeah, he has a big enough wall for the TV. He has a big enough, he could handle 98 inches of TV. Especially because my dad is like almost blind now, so I figured 98 inches makes the picture really big and it's easier for him to see, you know? He's gonna watch my stream later and be like, I'm not blind! I'm old! Not that old! Dude, like, my dad had a, you think that, my dad had one of those projection TVs that was like, I mean, I had a big-ass TV at one point. And when I mean big-ass TV, I mean I had like a 200-pound, 44-inch CRTV that I got for free. Basically, this TV has a story because everything in my life is a story. My friend worked with a guy who was getting kicked out of his apartment complex. I don't remember what the reason was. I don't remember the whole backstory of why he had to move. Either he couldn't afford the rent, or the lease expired, or he lost his roommate. I think it was his roommate moved out. He couldn't make the rent on his own anymore. And so he had all this stuff he was trying to get rid of, okay? One of the things he was trying to get rid of... Oh, damn, I'm sorry to hear that, Arctic. Was this giant projection TV. And he said, like, he's like, and we came over, my friend and I came over to look at it because my friend worked with him at Domino's, and we came over to look at it, and we were like, you like, it was so huge. It might have been bigger than 44 inches. It might have been something crazy like 55 inches or something like that. And we were looking at him like, you sure you want to give this away? You couldn't sell it? And he was like, yeah. He's like, I listed it. Nobody wants to buy it unless it's a flat panel. And I kid you not, this TV must have weighed like 200 freaking pounds. And my friend and I carried it into my truck. This is back when I had a car. We muscled it into my truck and I took it. Damn it, overcharged 266, a new record. Damn it. Damn it. So we muscled it into the back of my truck and I drove it home. It was nice to have a TV this big, but I'm going to tell you guys, getting a TV this big was a mistake. Oh, it was so heavy. It took both of us new. It was so heavy. And I don't remember how big it was. I want to say it was bigger than 44 inches. I want to say it was like 49 inches or something like that. And anyways, we carried it into my apartment and like, let me tell you this. After I moved out of that apartment, I didn't take it with me. I gave it to my sister because that thing was, I don't know what I was thinking when I got that TV because it was so hard to move. But I had it for a while and it was great. It was like so big. It was so big it didn't need a TV stand. I just set it on the floor. I mean, the thing was, Arctic, is I was moving into I moved from my apartment complex. I was moving in where I was renting a room. And there was just no, like, the thing was so big. I only had a room, a 10 by 10 room that I was moving into. There was not enough space, like, there was not enough physical space in the room that even if I could move it, it just wasn't worth it, you know what I mean? Because I had a friend. I was moving into his room, like, it was funny. Because I had a friend, and he was like, we lost our roommate, you want to move in? I'm like, cool, I'm losing my job, that's great, I'll come and rent a room from you. And there wasn't enough physical space for it. And by this point, like, flat screen TVs were getting comparable enough, like, if I wanted a TV that, like, I kind of, like, I don't know the best way to explain it, is like this TV gave me the big TV experience, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would have. If I was a kid, I would have loved this thing, having this monster freaking TV. But I was like, this thing is so inconvenient, I'll just give it to my sister. And so I gave it to my sister. And then by this point, like, this wasn't the point where, like, right now, like, I kid you not, it was like 4 years ago, I bought a 4K TV, 42 inches, for like $200. And it was so cheap, I bought one for myself and I bought one for my mom and I gave it to my mom. I just gave my mom a 42-inch TV because what happened was her TV had died, so I was going to buy myself a new 42-inch TV and give her my old 1080p TV, okay? And then my mom was like, oh, I was so excited. I thought I was going to get a brand new TV. And so I was like, fine, whatever. And I just bought my mom a 42-inch TV, and I gave my 1080p, like, that was like 30 inches. Yeah, my sister got the old, I don't know how big it was. I wish I could remember how big it was. But yeah, I gave it to her. Like, I helped her and her boyfriend at the time. I think it was I'm pretty sure he was her boyfriend at the time. No, I didn't know he was her boyfriend at the time. Did I? No, I didn't. I have no idea. All right, let me, I think it was this. My sister and my former best friend, who I didn't know was dating my sister, so he was effectively dating my sister behind my back and not telling me, came over to move the TV so my sister could have it. And I was like, I helped him move it, and I didn't know. Yeah, I have a sister. She got married to my, it's weird. There was a guy who I thought I was best friends with, and I had a falling out with one of his friends, and then he stopped talking to me. And I thought it was because I got into a fight with his friend and he didn't like how I handled the situation or whatever. I used to have 2 siblings. One of them passed away. Let me finish this story, Artie. And so I was friends with him, and this was when my brother was alive. And we were all friends, and he was like my best friend. I really thought he was my best friend, swear to God. Because we did everything. We played World of Warcraft all the time together. We played Gemstone together, we played Diablo 2 together, then we played World of Warcraft together. He was older than me. We did all these things together, okay? Then it was in Burning Crusade. No, it was after Burning Crusade. I think it was Wrath of the Lich King. Like, he just slowly stops talking to me. Now, again, I had a big fight with one of his other friends, and it's like a complicated situation. And I was like, well, the friend I got into a fight with, it wasn't like a physical fight. It was an argument, a vocal argument. I want to be clear here. Virus is what it is. He would pay for him to go out. So I had a friend who actually would pay for him to go out and do stuff with him. And like at the time I was just busy working and stuff like that. This had to be in Wrath of the Lich King, or maybe later, maybe Cataclysm. Anyways, it was at some point where I was already working full time, so I didn't have a lot of free time to go out and do things. And I didn't really like driving. I think you all guys know that. I freaking hate driving. Like, if you gave me a decision to go drive somewhere or stay at home, I'm just like, just let me stay at home. I don't want to drive. I drive to work, and that's terrible enough. Anyways, so I get into a fight with this guy, and I assume he just starts freezing me out because I pissed off the guy that was willing to pay for him to go out and have a good time. And it wasn't like they were gay or anything like that. Obviously, he married my sister. It was just like they were just friends, and he was like, hey, I'd rather have him come along than him sit at home because he can't afford to go, which is cool. Totally respect that, not knocking that at all. But because I got no argument with him, I assumed that that's why he stopped talking to me, you know? And it wasn't until like 4 years later I found out that what happened was he started dating my sister. And my sister and I don't get along. And so what basically happened was my sister told him all the stories about how I ruined her life and blah, 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 blah. I became like responsible for every bad thing that ever happened to my sister. And like, that's why, so he stopped liking me and stopped talking to me. I'm not saying I was a perfect brother. Don't take that. Don't take it that way. But, you know, my sister isn't crazy. She was just, I don't know. My sister isn't crazy. I don't know why my sister feels, or at least felt the way she did, like, I have no idea why she felt that way. I don't know if it's because, like, my sister and I have, like, a 6-year age difference, 6 or 7 year age difference. And I don't know if it's just because she was so young back then and I was so much older. I have no idea. You know, I mean, it's one of those things. We don't get along. It's cool. I don't really care, you know. I don't think she's crazy or anything. She just has, like, there's certain things I believe in life, and there's certain things she believes in life, okay? And I just consider that, like, my point of view in life and her point of view in life aren't compatible. And so, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, it's the way some things are, right? And the way I am is that I really don't want to deal with people who don't see things the way I see them. I just see it as like if you believe, and I don't know a really great example. I'm trying to think of an example that doesn't just sound crazy, right? Like, it's not like she's a flat earther or something like that. But it's like for example, my sister fosters animals for the county, okay? I have nothing against fostering animals or anything like that. But I know my sister is not in the financial position where she should be doing that, right? So one of the things that I'm conflicted about is, like, I also feel like they take advantage of her. That's a separate thing. One of the things I feel so conflicted about is I feel, well, number one, I 100% think the foster system totally takes advantage of my sister. 100%. She will tell me they don't. They give her all this stuff for free, blah, 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 blah. They take advantage of her time, and she doesn't see her time as valuable, but I see my time as valuable, so I see them taking advantage of her. Like, to me, it's like clear as day. That's probably the best example. And the thing is, I wouldn't really care about my sister fostering if I felt like she was doing, like, if she was making enough money in life where she wasn't struggling. But my sister has 2 jobs and all this other stuff going on, and I'm just like, you know, why are you getting involved in this stuff when you already have to have 2 jobs to support yourself? And that's the type of conflicts I have with my sister. And I don't even want to get into how my sister is, you know, she has like she has, in my opinion, more pets than she should have because she's broke, right? Like, if you're broke, the first thing you do is you got to get rid of the pets. Not all the pets. I understand, like, wanting to have like 2 dogs, and I'll even give her the stretch goal of 2 dogs and a cat or 2 cats, okay? And that to me is insane if you're struggling, like, monetarily, right? And she has exceeded that. And that's where my frustration is. Like I understand, and the thing is, I understand entirely why this is happening. Because I watched this show called Animal Hoarders. Now, I'm not saying my sister is an animal hoarder, but I watched the TLC show Animal Hoarders. And one of the things they talked about is basically what happens with these people is they go through a life event that's a loss. And I know, so like, I knew where I drew the line was my sister had so many animals she had to adopt like, she basically had somebody adopt an animal and give it to her because she was over the limit by the county. Okay, when you're over the limit of the amount of animals by the county, you have to do something goofy like that to adopt an animal. You've gone beyond what's normal. You need to stop. You need to, like, that should be a trigger to reassess what you're doing. Okay, I'm not saying my sister doesn't take care of the animals. Of course she does. But what I'm saying is, like, it takes a lot of investment, you know. Exactly, Ark. To me, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because I found out because she thought she was so clever, and I'm like, Laura, like, if you have this many animals and the county's saying you shouldn't have more, I mean, maybe that's a message. Oh, I need to scale down the operation. But the thing is, I watched this show called Animal Hoarders, And what it talked about was how a lot of people get into animal hoarding because they suffer a loss in their lives and they're trying to fill that hole in their life with the animals. And so as soon as, like, that was really the, outside of the county thing, that was the other switch for me. And again, my sister's not like those people. Those people, obviously, almost all of them, like, the animals are a mess. They're, you know, it's not like that. But I could see the same symptoms that my sister was getting involved with all these animals. Well, no, like Arctic, if she was, I would have called the county, right? I would have just called the county. They would have intervened, and that would have been the end of it. You know, that would have been the end of it. I would not, you know, that would not, you know. But when you consider all the other factors in my sister's life, like she's, you know, I'm not saying she's broke, but she's working 2 jobs and all this. At some point, you need to ask yourself, why am I working 2 jobs and I have all these animals? Can I remove some of these animals and then have more time for myself and maybe not have to? Yeah. And so anyways, once I saw that, that was just like, we are in a dangerous situation, you know? But I see, and the thing is, I never had a pet because pets are so goddamn expensive, man. I don't understand how she does it. I make more money than her. And I'm like, I can't, like, I don't feel like I could have a pet. Because if I get a pet, they charge me more rent. If I get a pet, they charge me a pet deposit. If I get a pet, then there's all the medical bills. I'm like, why would I have a pet? And I'm not saying she should have 0 pets. It's not what I'm saying. But to me, it's just like, just when I sit there and I look at all the expenses, I'm like, I would have to be goddamn insane. I would have to be out of my goddamn mind to look at all these expenses and be like, yes, I want to have a pet. I don't know how she does it, because as soon as I looked at the numbers, I was like, this is insane. And so it's just difference of opinion like that. Like, I don't, like, she's not hurting anything. She's not doing anything crazy. I don't think she's not at the point where she has so many pets she's living in squalor or anything like that. All the pets are well taken care of. Like, basically but basically, because the pets are well taken care of, that's what her entire life revolves around, right? That is her entire life. Like, all her free time, all that is all about taking care of the pets. I don't really spend that much money on the tower, to be honest, but like, I'll say this, Arctic, the amount of money I spend on video games is nowhere near what she spends on pets. Nowhere near. I'm pretty frugal. I just honestly just don't enjoy spending money. But anyways, that's the situation. And so she's just so different with those kind of things in life. And I'm not a person that can, like, what's the word? Yeah, I put all my, yeah, yes, I just invest my money. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, maybe, Arctic, there's some world where I invest enough money and then I can retire and do this, you know? I don't know. You know, Arctic, I grew up poor. Not like poor, lower middle class. So, like, money, you know, I learned at a young age that everything in my life is limited by money. So therefore, money is the most important thing in my life. Therefore, I have to be smart with my money. Therefore, I need to save my money. It's just like, it's like wired into me because, like, I grew up. And everything hard about how I grew up was not hard because I had some weird thing. It was hard because of a lack of money. And when you grow up that way, at least for me, when you grow up that way and realize that everything your mom struggled with was because of money. Everything your parents struggled with was because of money. One of the reasons they struggled so much is because they had 3 kids instead of 1 kid. And I'm not just saying 1 kid because I'm the oldest. I'm just saying, like, you know, every kid just adds more expense to the pile, you know? And I'm not saying my parents should have had 1 kid, but I'm just saying, like, I look at it in my life, right? And that's why, like, every girl I dated, you want to have kids? Yeah, I want to be a mom one day. Okay, I'm not going to talk to you anymore ever again, outside of friends. Because I realized the easiest way to win economically in life was just not have kids, because kids were so expensive. But that's just an example of how it's effectively the rat race, and, you know, but I grew up that way with the rat race, and it was so ingrained into me. Dude, Arctic, I'm totally fine with losing genetically. I do see the irony that I basically only exist because all my parents have kids, and I'm gonna be the link that doesn't have kids. Gail, I am, for the third time, I'm not trying to farm tier 20. We are trying to unlock tier 21. To unlock tier 21, I have to get to wave 300. So getting to wave 300 requires a lot of RNG to go right because my tower isn't strong enough. So we're trying to see if I can make that happen. Yeah, Arctic, I kind of think it's kind of funny. And I'm not saying my mom wouldn't have struggled if we had 2 kids instead of 3 kids, but every kid just adds another struggle to it, you know? Like, it's just one kid. I look at the people with one kid, right? I had a friend who was an only child growing up. And he was an only child, and so he got everything from his parents, and I just remember being so envious of him, right? He didn't have any, because he didn't have any siblings to compete with for resources, you know what I mean? And he told me later, because we started talking later when we were adults, and he's like, yeah, I used to be always envious about, like, I never had that cool brother or sister, and I just laughed. I just laughed because they're not always that cool. Like, I love my brother and I love my sister, but it would have been easier if we all had our own families resource-wise. Gail, you're not bugging me. I thought I had explained pretty clearly that we're trying to roll to 300. So we're not farming, it's just we're trying to get to 300, and it takes a lot of attempts to get to 300. And so, like, at least for my tower, it takes a lot of attempts, so we're willing to, you know, keep throwing and see if we can make it stick. Because, like, I'm not gonna coin my way to tier 21. Like, there's not enough coins I could farm to make it so I'm gonna get to tier 21 as soon as I want to. Like, obviously, the stronger and stronger my tower gets, the easier and easier it gets, but I wanted to try and see if I could get to tier 21. I like to think, Arctic, that my brother thought I was a cool big brother. I don't know if I was or wasn't, but I like to think I was, because I tried to stick up for him when he got bullied and stuff like that. Because he was my brother. That's what you're supposed to do. My brother and I were actually 2.5 years apart, so we were pretty close, right? Like, we went to elementary school together. I wouldn't let anybody pick on him or anything like that. He was my brother. Like, if anybody was going to pick on my brother, it was going to be me. Now my sister, like, where there's 6 or 7 years between us, like, I think it's like 6.5. So there's so much time between us, like, you know, it's just 2 different worlds at that point. And it's not like I really picked on my brother, but because there was 3 of us, what happens, I don't know if you how many siblings you had, Arctic. At least in my family, with 3 kids, right? It was basically 2 kids would team up against 1 sibling. So sometimes it would be me and my brother against my sister, me and my sister against my brother, or my brother and my sister against me. And that was just how the dynamic worked, and alliances shifted all the time. And that was the one thing my mom was like, I hated having an odd number of kids because I would watch how 2 of you would team up against the other one. And my mom thought like 4 kids would somehow be better. And I don't know. Because I see scenarios with 4 kids where it's just 3 on 1, you know? Yeah, I never really got in that much trouble because, like, most of the time I just sit around and play video games. And fortunately, I did well in school, so my mom didn't really have a whole lot to complain about because I was at home. I wasn't going anywhere. I was playing video games, so I wasn't doing anything bad. And I was doing well in school, so it wasn't like I was playing video games and not taking care of my schoolwork. But again, I want to emphasize, the only reason I did well in school was so I wouldn't get hassled about school. Like, my only motivation to do well in school was so I wouldn't get in trouble for not doing well in school and then lose my ability to sit around and play video games all the time. That was my motivation. That was my only motivation. Because kind of the way things worked was, as long as I did well in school, my mom didn't complain about me playing video games all the time. You know? And again, my mom was working full time, so like, she was working. You know, you have 3 kids, so you have to divide the time up when you're not working by 3, right? So like, if my mom got home at 6, you know, we're together from like 6 to like 11 at the best, right? 3 sons, Jesus. Yeah, fortunately my sister, like, she doesn't have any kids, so it's just my sister and her entourage of pets, I guess is how I'd put it. And again, like, my only complaint about my sister's pets is that she's not doing super, like, 3 sons and 30. Jesus, he was I guess he didn't have cable TV. It's just that my sister, like, has to work 2 jobs and all this other stuff. If my sister wasn't working 2 jobs and was making good money, I wouldn't really care how many pets she had. Like, that to me is the only thing, you know? Wow. Honestly, Arctic, I credit having video games why I just gave up on dating when I was in school. I was like, yeah, I was gonna play video games. Like, women aren't into video games. That's cool. I guess I'll just go play video games and forget about trying to date. I know that when I went to live with my dad, he was so frustrated, like, how I didn't want to date or anything. And I'm like, why would I want to date? Please give me a reason why I would want to date. Like, I don't have any money. I'm broke. I'm going to school. I need to just get school out of the way. And then the funny thing was, I get school out of the way and go to work, and then I start going to work, and I'm like, man, I have no free time. Why would I date? I got no free time to do things for me. I gotta play, like, all my video game playing time is gone. Damn it. Fast! Damn it! All my video game playing time was just gone. So what was I gonna do? Obviously not date. I mean, the thing is, it's not even without a job, like, women aren't interested in me, at least for me. I'm not, like, for me it was, because I didn't have a job, I didn't want to, like, do anything fun. I wanted to sit around and play video games at home because that was free. So, can you imagine not a lot of women are into that? They want to go out, go to the movies, go out to eat, do those kind of things. And that was how all my friends were. Like all my friends, they had to take the girls out, you know. And I'm not saying they didn't go Dutch, you know. I'm not saying if they went Dutch, you know, that sucked. This just sucked. I'm not saying whether or not they went Dutch or not, you know. I don't know. I think most of the time they were dating Dutch, right? But even dating Dutch, you still have to afford going to the movie or going out to dinner and pay your own way, you know, and that's expensive. And like, you know, I don't know, it was maybe like, I think a movie was like, I don't know, like $8 back then, maybe $10. But I mean, $10, 6 movies, that's a video game. You're asking me to choose 6 movies, 12 hours of entertainment over a video game? You are out of your goddamn mind. A movie and a half is a World of Warcraft subscription, and World of Warcraft entertains me for the whole month. I actually went to the movies, I don't know, it wasn't recently. I don't even remember what movie I went to go see. But I went to the movies and I spent, I can't even remember when it was, because that's how long ago it was. I think by the time I got, all right, well, that was even worse. This is what I mean. There's a lot of RNG in this. By the time I got popcorn and movies and all that kind of stuff, I was already out like $30. I'm pretty sure it was a Marvel movie I was going to. And like, I don't know about you, Arctic. As a kid, when I was growing up, we had a $1 movie theater. Didn't have the most recent movies, didn't matter, because it was $1. And so we would go to the dollar theater, and the dollar theater had popcorn for like $4. Unlimited refills. And you get a drink, and I think it was like, I don't remember, because I was a kid. But I could get popcorn and a drink with unlimited refills. That's why the dollar theaters died, Shinobis? I never understood why the dollar theater died. It just one day was gone. Well, it actually, I'll take that back. It went from $1 to $1.25. And then it was like movie releases started to get so quickly, the dollar theater just wasn't a thing anymore. Like, by the time it would have gone to the dollar theater normally, you could just rent it at Blockbuster. Or Hollywood Video or whatever. Or Netflix. Yeah, it used to go theater to dollar theater DVD. Oh, Arctic, my dollar theater died before streaming. Like, it was at some point, it was like going from theater to DVD, like, so quickly that my dollar theater didn't get a slice anymore. Really? I didn't know that, Shinobis. Because I just remember all of a sudden it seemed like the dollar theater was just gone. I thought it was just, it got so much cheaper to like release on VHS or DVD that it just didn't make sense to delay it anymore. Because it seemed to me like movies just were in theaters for 3 months and then on VHS. Like everything just seemed to get so fast. Oh, it was 2013 that killed a lot of them too, Shinobis. Basically, they stopped releasing stuff on 35mm film, and to upgrade just one screen to digital projection was $80,000 in 2014. Or 2013 or 2014. I don't know when it actually, you know. I was so sad when the dollar theater just like went away, man. It was like the dollar theater was basically like such a thing for me because can you imagine It's just my mom, three kids, so four of us. We can go see a movie for $4. It's usually the price of a whole ticket, you know? Oh. The last year of a movie I watched would have been Wolverine and Deadpool, but I watched that like I streamed that from Disney Plus. That was probably the most. I actually really enjoyed that movie. I thought that movie was great. I really wish my brother was alive to see it. That was the last movie I think I saw. A lot of times, Arctic, I'll just watch, like, nowadays you can just go on YouTube and, like, you can just watch, like, you know, there's, like, that channel that does, like, the 10 snippets of a movie. And, like, if I want to see a movie, I'll watch, like, the 10 snippets, and I'm like, oh, I got the gist of the movie. So one of the things that happened to Shinobis is that what ended up happening is the first run would last so long at the main theater that they wouldn't even do a second run. Because like by the time the first one was over, it was ready to go to DVD, which is kind of what I thought I remembered. Outside of Deadpool and Wolverine, I can't think of another movie I would have wanted to watch. I'm sure there's some good movies out there that I haven't seen. Like, I never saw Interstellar. I need to see that. I never saw Tenet or whatever it was called. I don't know if that was good or not. I heard it was good. I used to have people I would watch movies with, like we would stream together, and like, I don't know, that just stopped. Maria doesn't really watch movies, so we don't really watch too many movies. We watched that Finnish movie. Actually, it might have been that Finnish movie. We had to go through hell and high water to watch this movie. It was Sisu. Sisu was 2022. Sisu, the first one. So that one was 2022. I don't know when Deadpool and Wolverine. We actually streamed that one in her Discord. Okay, Deadpool and Wolverine was 2024, so obviously it's Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, it was very over the top. It was very over the top. Yeah, we'll probably, I guarantee you we're going to watch Sisu 2. I guarantee you. I don't know when we're going to do it, but I guarantee you will. We will. don't know when we'll do it, but I'm sure probably like for New Year's or something like that, because that's when we watch Sisu. I am really hungry. I know I had a snack, but I'm hungry. Right? The first movie was great. Yeah, I remember Crank. I watched, like, when I found Crank, I watched it, and then I watched it like 4 times that weekend. I thought it was so good. Well, I'll say I thought it was so good as much as it was so action-packed. There was never a dull moment in that movie, and I loved how action-packed it was. So does Rotten Tomatoes not have a best releases? Yeah, they do. Okay. I was K-pop Demon Hunters. 98. What are we talking about? To be fair, I'd much rather go by the audience than by whatever this is. I haven't seen Working Man. The other movie I watched kind of recently, which really wasn't a recent movie, but it was probably the most recent movie I hunted down, was... Damn it, what was that movie? I'm trying to think of what the movie was. I think it was Will Ferrell was an IRS agent. Stranger Than Fiction. And I watched Stranger Than Fiction because... Oh, nice. I was talking to my friend, and I was describing, you know, you ever see Terminator, and you get the Terminator vision, and the way his, like, eye analyzes the world. You see all this information about everything he looks at, and he goes, and it has a sound. Kind of, not a little slower than that. And I was like, man, I can't wait for like the level of technology where I have like an eye implant and I just look at something and it tells me all the things about it, right? And he was like, oh, you should watch Stranger Than Fiction because the IRS agent in there does that. And I'm like, what? And so that's why I watched it, because of that. Damn it. Well, we got a new patch? Now? In the tower? I'm looking, hold on. I'm just gonna read it from, because you can't access your mail here. What does it say? All right, we got a developer announcement. Oh, we do got an update. So there's a bug fix for armored enemies, there's a bug fix for primordial collapse, and a bug fix for tanks. And we're gonna get 27.0.5. And it's something to do with light speed shots versus regular shots that's interfering with armored enemies. And they just did the data dump about it. I'll see if I can bring up the notes. I'll bring it up when this guy crashes out, unless he makes it to 300, and then we'll be done. Well, if we get to 300, then we have to get to tier 2160, but you know. Yeah, I just read it on Discord. Oh, Apple delayed the update. So they didn't want to release the patch because they were waiting until after the tournament. Because of Apple, which is kind of hilarious. So we should be able to get the V27.05. Excuse me. They didn't want to roll it out until after the tournament because otherwise the tournament would have been... Well, Shinobi's, because it fixes PRC, they didn't want to roll it out in the tournament where PRC works correctly for some people and not everybody. Hey, Fatty, how you doing? So I'm probably going to wind this down in a little bit. I need to get something to eat. If I wait much longer, everything's going to be like... my grocery store is already closed. I already lost my grocery store. I wish my grocery store stayed open later. But I still have a chance. There's a couple things that are open till midnight. So I have like an hour and I need to get something to eat. The Waffle House is really far away from me, Fatty. I looked for the Waffle House because it's open all the time and it's like very far. It's like a 2-mile walk one way. If it was 2 miles one way, I would go to Waffle House all the time, but it's about 2 miles one way from me. And I'm like, damn, that's a really long, that's 4 miles. That's like, you know, a 1-hour trip. I do love Waffle House because they make everything fresh. Fatty, I don't own a car. I got a whole thing about cars and I hate them and I hate how our world is all designed around cars because I can't believe the amount of personal responsibility you have to take on to operate a car. It just doesn't make sense. It's not cost effective. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's not that I don't drive, it's that I don't own a car. I theoretically could drive, my license is still in good condition. I just hate driving. I hate driving more than anything else in life that I have to do as an adult. Probably driving is like the #1 thing I hate. And it's mostly not driving specifically that I hate. Oh, trust me, you can still gain weight if you don't drive. You just don't go anywhere, you'll gain weight too. 'Cause I still, like... I still have to fight that. Probably the better way to put it is I hate driving point A to point B, and I wish there was alternate transportation. If I get in a car and can drive it somewhere where there's nobody else on the road, that actually is enjoyable, but I'm not using it to go from point A to point B. I just can't stand driving. Like, it's not that I can't stand driving, I mean, technically, Fatty, what I should get is I should get an electric bike. I see a lot of people around here that have electric bikes. Electric bike is probably about the level I would like, right? Honestly, if I really wanted, what I really would want is a really well-made, heavy-duty bicycle, because every bicycle I've ever gotten, I just somehow destroy it. So I'd want a really heavy-duty bicycle probably more than an electric bike. It's just that every electric bike I've seen has always looked like they're really well made. And again, looks can obviously be deceiving, but an electric bike has been about the closest I've seen that, like, to a bicycle I would want to own, right? Yeah, I don't have like a winner. Yeah, I'm lucky my grocery store is about a half mile away. Costco's like a quarter mile away. But, you know, I chose to live here knowing I didn't have a car, so I pay more in rent because I don't have the car because I'm living close to things. It is what it is. You either pay it in time or you pay it in money. That's the problem. Yeah, I work from home. I used to actually walk to work. Like where I live, I moved where I was close to work, close to the grocery store, and close to the gym. That's why I picked where I live. And then when COVID happened, they let us work from home. And eventually what happened is they called us all back into the office, and my boss got an exception for me because he's like, it's ridiculous to make Zaerdin come into the office because he walks here, he has to cross the overpass. I currently don't own a car, Shinobis. So what happened is my car was 15 years old. I had to make a decision. Do I replace it and buy another car? And this was in 2017. No, it was in 2017. It was like 16 or 17 years old or something like that. And so I was at a crossroads. I was like, I mean, I got the exemption eventually. So the decision I was trying to make, Shinobis, is do I trade the car in and get a new car, or do I get rid of the car and see if and before I got rid of the car, I tried Uber and all that. And I was like, do I get, which way do I go? I was at a crossroads in my life. And this is 2017. Uber was like dirt cheap back then. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try Uber. And so I tried Ubering. It was so cheap. Like Uber was so cheap in 2017. There wasn't like the math didn't even make sense for me to keep a car, because I went and I did the TCO of if I bought a new car, blah 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 blah, it would be about $420 a month TCO, right? My most expensive month using Uber was $250, and this is when I was Ubering to work every day and I would walk home from work. I still would, Arctic, because the thing about it is, even though I complain about how expensive Uber is, right? Like I went out to that dinner, right? I Ubered there, and this was my mistake. I Ubered there, and it was like $22, and so I was like, okay, it's gonna cost me $40 to go to this dinner and come home. When I went to leave, the price was $37, I want to say. I mean, the number, Arctic, the numbers making sense is like, it depends. Like for me currently, yeah, it still makes sense because I don't go anywhere. But the reason I don't go anywhere is because if I go somewhere, I open up Uber and I see the price to Uber somewhere and I'm like, oh, if I Uber to the like let's say I wanted to go see a movie, right? The movie theater is like 2.5 miles away, so I could walk there, but I'm spending 30 plus minutes to walk there and back, right? I would take Uber, Fatty. I would just Uber out if I had to evacuate. I don't currently live in a zone where I have to evacuate. If it absolutely, like, if it was that bad where I had to evacuate, what would happen is I still live near my mom, and so she would probably, I am probably on the way of her evacuating, so she would just pick me up and we would evacuate. I mean, there's people who have, like, when we went through a hurricane, like my first hurricane without a car, which is Irma, I actually went to my mom's house to ride out Irma because I wasn't sure what to do. And when I was going there, one of the guys was telling me, he's like, I had a guy pay me $300 to drive him to Tallahassee because he wanted to get out of the storm. And like, I don't know that Tallahassee is exactly where I would go if I was trying to get out of a storm, but if the storm's that bad and that kind of thing, like obviously there's a dollar amount. It becomes a dollar amount problem. You know, that's the fundamental thing. It just becomes like, how much money are you willing to spend in an emergency to get out of Dodge? And so realistically, if I want, like, the most realistic thing is in an absolute terrible situation is I would go to a hotel inland to try and see if I could ride the storm out, right? That's like, the hurricane is like a catastrophic level storm. I'm going inland to somewhere like Orlando, Tallahassee to ride out, maybe even Georgia to ride out the storm. At that level, the catastrophic storm, it's probably going to impact my mom, and so we would just all go together, right? I don't feel stuck, Fatty, because I mean, here's the thing, Fatty, there's nothing like I really want to do that I feel like I can't do because I don't have a car. Because anything I want to do, I can just take Uber and do. Like when I wanted to go out to dinner, I took an Uber out and went to dinner and did it. I don't have public transportation either. I have to depend on Uber. Uber and Lyft are my public transportation. So I don't feel, but the thing is, I don't feel like I'm missing out. Because when I owned a car, 95% of my driving was just back and forth to work. So the only driving I've ever really done in my life is commuting back and forth to work. Yeah, everything's a monetary calculation is the thing. So if we go back to the TCO, right? My TCO is $420 a month, okay? I have never spent more than $250 a month on transportation. And when I spent $250 a month on transportation, that was actually Hurricane Irma. Not only did I evacuate for Hurricane Irma to my mom's house, which was, I went there, my mom took me back to my place. That was like $50 or $40 or maybe 20. I think it was when Uber was still cheaper, so it was like $25 or something like that. I mean, I could really look it up if I wanted to, but let's say round up $30, okay? But that was when what the real expense was. My gym was closed, the gym I walked to. So I paid an extra $20 to go to a different gym, work out there, and $20 to go home. So that was a $40 frivolous expense I made that month that I didn't need to make. I could have just waited until my gym opened up. I just didn't want to miss the day, and I went to the gym. And so that month was $250. My average month was about $150. And that was basically taking Uber to work in the morning and then walking home from work. I was about 2 miles from work. Didn't mind walking home. I'm just not really good at getting up in the morning. That, you know, I wasn't good enough to get up early enough in the morning to walk to work in the morning, get to work and just be hot and sweaty. But coming home from work wasn't a big deal because I could be as hot and sweaty as I wanted, come home and just like take a shower, you know? So that was my most expensive month. And then what happened is somebody was like, oh, I'm on the way to you. I'll just pick you up. And I was like, you sure? And they're like, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it was exercise too. So I would get a ride to work and sometimes I get a ride home. Not all the time. Not a big deal. I didn't really mind walking home from work. Honestly, the funniest thing was like walking home from work 2 miles. That made me feel like I was in high school because I had a backpack on. I offered to chip into gas but he said, no. We literally lived like, he didn't feel comfortable charging me for gas because we literally lived in the same apartment complex. It was weird. Like the apartment complex was separate, 2 separate things. Like it was 2 separate buildings, but we were like I don't know, like 3 blocks apart, if that makes sense. So Fatty, that opens a lot of questions, right? When you say if you paid for a car in cash. The TCO I used actually counts the car not having finance charges. And again, is spending, you know, that opens up another can of worms, which is it better to pay the car off in cash or is it better to take the differential and keep the differential invest? 286, oh, come on. Because now again, when I was looking at this originally, it was cheaper to take the loan out and instead of using the money on the car, keep the money invested, because the money invested would earn like 8 to 10%, and the loan would only be 2 to 3%. I tried to give him money. I tried to give this guy money. He said no. I have no problem. Like, to me, I had no problem like paying like 10, 20 bucks a month, you know? I had no problem, not 10, 20, I mean $10 to $20 a week, so like 40 to 80 bucks a month. I would have had no problem to do it. He refused to. I offered multiple times and he refused every time. And I just gave up. I tried and I tried and I tried. I have 11 million. I had almost 12 million. I don't know how many I've had. That's a wash. So I tried to do it, and I use $400 as like my benchmark. Okay, $400 a month. Even if you cut that in half and say you should be able to own a car, insurance, gas for $200 a month. Even if you slice that in half, most months the amount of money I spend on transportation is $0. Because I just don't go anywhere. Part of it is because I open the Uber app, I look at how expensive it is to go somewhere. Oh, it's $20 to go to this place and $20 to go back? You know what's cheaper than doing that? Not doing it. So I close the app and I don't go. Now, whether or not that's the way you want to live your life is an entirely separate question. And I'm sure I get dinged because I'm more willing to pay for delivery on things that I wouldn't need to pay delivery for if I had a car. So there's that too. And now used cars are like, the problem I have with trying to model this equation around a used car is that every used car is a different story, right? Every used car, it's like a different set of compromises, and it's much more complicated to apply this formula to a used car. So what I did was I looked for the cheapest car with the cheapest TCO on Kelley Blue Book, and I took that TCO. And that I was like, this TCO is going to be my benchmark. And I used that and I extrapolated from that. And that's how I based all this math off of. And again, I have a huge advantage because I don't date, don't go anywhere anyways, and the only place I've ever really driven is back and forth to work. Also, never in my life have I enjoyed the quote-unquote freedom that a car gave me. I always felt like a car was just this like what really soured me on my car was when I was unemployed. Because I was unemployed and I had a car, and nothing made me hate a car more than being unemployed and having a car. And the reason was I paid so much for insurance on a car that I didn't use. And it just drove me up the wall to pay so much for this car that I don't even need, because like, to me, the only time I've ever needed a car was to go to work. So when I wasn't working, I'm like, oh my God, why am I paying insurance on this thing? I don't need this car. And that doesn't even go into like I had a lot of problems with my truck where like it would stall out on me, and I never really understood like why that was happening. So it wasn't like my car like ran well. I had tons of problems with my truck. And it always bothered me that it was, and again, I had the car when it started stalling out. I had the car only for like 3 years. So it was my dad's old car. So he had it for 4 or 5 years, and I had it for like 3 years, and it would start stalling. Oh, I don't doubt it. Because COVID, like the thing is, before COVID, Arctic, everybody was like, oh my God, I don't know how you do it without a car. And then like post COVID, they're like, damn, I now understand how you do it without a car because you're saving so much goddamn money. But I mean, Fatty, it really just depends on your transportation budget. That's like really all it is like, what's your transportation budget? Like, if you're willing to be flexible on your transportation budget, I wouldn't say it makes total sense, but the pill becomes a lot easier to swallow. If you're willing to own a used car and put in the work to maintain a used car, and part of the reason why I didn't buy a car is because they aren't making cars for me. I want a new car that's like $10,000 to $15,000, that's electric, that gets about 100 miles to a charge, and that I have a charger in my apartment complex. They don't make that car. Why would I buy a car then? And see the reality too for me is, if the roads were safer, and I wouldn't really drive it on the roads, but like, if the roads were safer is the wrong word, but like, if people use smaller cars in general, I probably wouldn't have a problem using an electric bike to get around. I don't feel like I really need more than an electric bike. An electric bike is probably about what I would need. That's about it. Like to me, having an electric bike and I actually don't know why they're so large. I assume it's because they can be that. Yeah, that's the whole problem, Shinobis. It becomes a catch-22, right? We can't have small cars because everybody drives a big car. So because everybody drives a big car, you also have to drive a big car because everybody drives a big car, right? That's just the escalation, right? And so the bigger the car, like the TCO I use is for a Chevy Smart Car or whatever it is. Sorry, a Chevy Spark, which is like a $20,000 car, and it's tiny. If I was going to buy a regular car, it'd probably be even more expensive from a TCO perspective. And again, the used car market is so tricky because it's so like the used car, like if you're trying to do a comparison for the used car market, it's not like you can use a median price or this and that, because every used car, because I looked into used cars, every used car comes with its own story. None of the stories are the same. Nothing really lines up. So for every used car, you have to analyze each used car individually. Honestly, Shinobis, I would like, at this point, Shinobis, I am so... Oh, that is funny. Emissions, yeah. Shinobis, I'm actually so out of practice of driving, I wouldn't even want to do a zip car and something like that where I would drive it. I would just rather just pay the Uber tax and just, you know, just because I'm out of practice of driving. I haven't driven in 8 years. And honestly, it's one of those things too, Shinobis, when I look at things and like I haven't driven in 8 years and I'm like, how, like it becomes a thing. Okay, let's say I do the zip car. Let's say it saves me $10. Is it really worth the $10 versus just having somebody else drive me around and making them, you know, take on that risk? I would pay the $10, just let them have the risk, and then I don't have to worry, like, because like the big thing I don't like about driving is all the responsibility you assume when you're driving. That was the thing that always bothered me. You take on so much personal responsibility when you drive. I wouldn't want to do it. Like, given the two options, the zip car and I would just go ahead and be like, go ahead, let's just get the Uber, you know. Honestly, Arctic, my idea for the whole self-driving car thing was the government should come to an agreement and just say, hey, on this highway, we are doing self-driving trucks. If, you know, whatever highway corridor it is, we're going to do self-driving on this corridor. If you disagree with doing self-driving, you do not use this corridor. Here are the alternate routes. Otherwise, you accept the risk of self-driving because we need to do this and we need to like work towards self-driving cars. And if I was the government, that's how I would do it. I would just point blank say, hey, we're going to do the testing on this road. If you do not like it, here are your alternate routes. We won't do self-driving on those. You can take those instead. I also do feel like in terms of self-driving cars, there's a lot of infrastructure we could build to make self-driving cars easier. And I think it also would require like an infrastructure investment to make it easier. You know what I mean? And we could start with one corridor and work through that corridor, upgrade everything, because there's a lot of infrastructure we could upgrade that could make self-driving cars easier. Like, there's a lot of things we could give self-driving cars to make it easier to accomplish what they're trying to do. I don't know if I should have picked faster game speed. We're gonna see if I regret this. Yeah, I think Tesla has a thing where there's no secondary market or so. I don't know what their thing is. I don't know how enforceable that is, Shinobis, though. Because that was their whole thing. Well, that's what they were doing with their leases, Shinobi, is that they would lease you the car, but they wouldn't let you buy it at the end of the lease or something like that because they would just take control of the car. And that's why there's not really a good secondary market for Tesla cars, because usually they're driven by leased cars. And honestly, that was the other thing too. Like, when I made this gamble in 2017, I was so sure we would have self-driving cars by like 2022 that by the time, like, if I purchased a car and we got self-driving cars in 2020, like, what's the point of what's the purpose of owning a car at that point, right? Obviously, hindsight's 2020. That didn't pan out, is what it is. Because my whole thing is, like, I drive so little. Once we have self-driving cars, there's no purpose for me to own a car. Like, the purpose for me to own a car is gone because I never go anywhere. Like, I literally just don't go enough places. You know, like I broke down my mileage when I got the truck at 44,000 miles. And I sold the truck at, I want to say it was 62,000 miles. So in that time period of owning the car for, I want to say I owned the car for 10 years. We'll say 10 years. I think it was like 11. I literally only drove 1,800 miles a year. And that 1,800 miles a year was with a 1,400 mile road trip. So if you throw that out, it's closer to 1,600 miles per year, roughly. You can round it up to 1,700 miles a year, okay? At a per mileage level, when I was looking at that, I was paying something like $3 a mile, which is absurd. Like $3 a mile is more expensive than Uber. So that was the other reason when I did something like that, like my cost that I was spending on my car was something like that. Yeah, around that 140. Yeah, that would be about right. 140 miles a month, give or take. And like I said, 90% of that was back and forth to work. Because whenever I got a new job, I would just move close to where I worked, because it was either I pay with it. My dilemma was either I pay with my time or I pay, you know, I either paid, you know, I try to save money driving and commuting back and forth to work. Or I just move to where work is and then have a short commute and I pay a little bit more money. And I don't have enough time. I'd rather have more time than, you know, money. And the money really isn't that different usually. Kind of depends. Every place is different. But it was one of those things, and it was like I would want to have a more reliable car if I was driving further to work, you know? And so that was, you know, that was my solution. Obviously, like my calculus that I use to manage this really breaks down when you start being like, I have a wife and we have kids and the kids need to do things and I need to do things. Like when you start getting to that point, yes, Zaerdin's calculus like totally breaks down. But because I'm single, I have no responsibilities, I don't owe anybody anything but me, I can just look at it very simply, dollar to dollar, you know? And so, and like now that I work from home and I don't go to work, you know, I spend probably 99% of my time in my apartment. And some people that would be depressing. To me, it's like, whatever, I don't have anything else to do. That's what happened during the pandemic, Arctic, was so many people told me that they did the same calculation and they went from 2 cars to 1 car. Because so many people were like husband and wife, and they both work from home, or only one of them has to go into the office. And it's like, why are we paying for the second car? We can just share 1 car. The most amazing thing to me, Arctic, is my dad is retired, my stepmom is retired. They still have 2 cars. And I asked him at some point, like, haven't you done the math that you could just go down to 1 car? And I got the most ridiculous thing. I like, what my dad said, like, to me was like, I'm like, all right, whatever, dude, you have your 2 cars then. Like, it didn't make any sense to me what he said, like from a monetary perspective. But basically, like, what he said is their insurance was so cheap it doesn't matter because they already had to. But like, I still think like you're still paying more than $0 for insurance, and you know. But that's what he wants to do. My sister only has 1 car. My mom only has 1 car. My sister, her husband can't even drive her car. It's hilarious. I do need to eat. Oh, shoot, yeah. I do need to eat. You know, you got me carried away talking about cars. Because, like, the whole thing, like, my whole reasoning of, like, I literally made a spreadsheet about this. I computed the mileage, I computed this, I computed that. I had I second guessed myself so many times on this calculation. I second guessed myself because even when the math came out that it was cheaper to Uber, I'm like, no, that can't be right. That can't be right. And honestly, the number one reason I did it, the number one reason, you can buy a car at any time and rejoin the car life cycle, right? At any time, I could go to a dealership, buy a car, and decide I am returning to a car-owning person. I can do that at any time I want. Yeah, that's true. That probably my number one thing I missed about having a car was being able to drive to work and take a nap in my car on my lunch. That was probably the number one thing I missed. But the whole thing was at any time I could go to a dealership, buy a car, and become a car person again. At any time I could do this. It's not like a monetary issue where I can't afford to do it. At any time I could do this. And so I was like, let me try Uber, and when I get sick of Uber, I'll go buy a car. Okay? And to this day, I'm still not sick of Uber. To this day, I still haven't had enough of the inconvenience of not owning a car to make me want to own a car, if that makes sense. Which probably sounds wild if you ever go anywhere, but I can walk to almost everything I need. Except Waffle House. I can't walk to Waffle House. I mean, the thing is, Shinobi, is it depends on where I'm going, if that's feasible. It's kind of like... That kind of, opens up, a lot of questions, right? If I was going to do that, would it make more sense to drive or to fly, right? Because whenever I made that, the first road trip I did, I only ever did one road trip in my life. When I made that calculation after the first trip, it was always cheaper to fly. The reason why it was always cheaper for me to fly was because flying with one person and driving with one person, the cost is about equivalent. I went and did the math on, to me, again, the math didn't make sense, right? I sat down, did the math 4 times. That is true. Shinobis, the reason I hesitate about the RV thing is because I had a friend get into RVs, and it just turned into such a money pit, dude. It was such a money pit. That's why I hesitate on that. It became just he told me everything wrong with the RV, how it was, every inconvenience about it. But you're right. And part of it, Shinobis, is I'd never thought about traveling, right? Because to me, traveling, I guess, again, because I grew up lower middle class, right? Traveling was something we didn't do. And again, when I was looking at my life, I didn't look at my life and what I wanted to do in life. Okay, I wanted to have these experiences. My life, even from the youngest age I can remember, my life was, how can I economically win with my life? And the solution was, probably don't get married, probably certainly don't have kids, don't travel, and either save all that money or spend that money on upgrading your house so you have a nice place to live. And because I never understood traveling, especially as a kid, because to me traveling was why would I spend this money going somewhere? Shouldn't I spend this money upgrading the house that I live in, right? And maybe that's just a video game thing, because I didn't have the experience of home ownership, but I had the experience of playing The Sims. And The Sims, the whole thing was, you spend the money upgrading your house so everything gets better for your life. So I was well, why would I go travel if I could just buy a better bed or buy a better TV or buy a better this? And so like I basically removed the will to travel from me because I just looked at it as a math equation, and from a math equation, like, traveling doesn't make any sense. The issue, Shinobis, here's the issue with owning a house, and I had considered that. The number one issue I had with owning a house is I didn't have somebody to rent it to. Like, somebody I knew to rent it to, right? Originally, way back when, the plan was I was going to get a house, right? And my brother and I were going to share the house. And that's how we were going to live. I was going to live in a room in the house, and he was going to own the rest of the house. And we were going to split the house up like that. That was my original plan. Obviously, that changed. He, not here to share a house anymore. And then what ended up happening was I started doing the calculus of, I did a whole lot of mathematical equations about owning versus renting. And the biggest issue I ran into owning, at least in the area I was looking, is that all the houses were really, really old. And so when the house is really old, like, there's a lot of issues with the house, right? And so that always made me hesitate on buying the house because of that. And the other reason is like when I started looking at job opportunities, right? I'll tell you right now, if I owned a house, I wouldn't have taken nearly the job opportunities I took with my life. I would have never worked at probably any of the companies I worked for, because each one of the companies I went with was further and further away from a house, like the theoretical house I would have owned. And so I never would have been willing to take that risk in my life. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not near Phoenix, Muffin. If I was, and honestly, like, that was like probably what I would need to look at would be doing like a duplex or something like that. Like Ned sent me a good video on, like, I almost bought a condo. I almost bought a condo because I was looking at like a condo was more around the level I was looking for, right? I almost bought a condo. And again, when I sat down and I did all the math because of the insurance I had to pay, the monthly fees I had to pay, like, when I had to pay everything, the amount of stuff I had to pay every month was like so ridiculously close to how much my rent was. I'm like, why am I buying this place if my rent is already going to be this high? Like the difference between my rent and how much I would have to pay each month, even after the condo was paid off, the difference was so small. I'm like, what am I even saving here? I think, Arctic, I had a really good deal because my rent at the time was $700 a month, and $700 a month was expensive. The condo I was looking at buying was $360 a month plus property tax. I had to pay that every month. So I was looking at a difference between $700 and basically, I think it was like $400. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a condo, so you don't have like an HOA, but it's like the condo fees. And I was looking at a $300 difference. And I did all this research on condos and stuff like that. And I'm like, how can I justify the $300, like the loss of flexibility for $300? Gail, you calculate, like, you can calculate interest rates on any kind of mortgage. You just go to a mortgage calculator. That's all. But I didn't even calculate the mortgage because, again, I was just looking at the $360 fee that just didn't go away. That was every month for the rest of your life that you own the condo. It was $360 plus, I think, property taxes. And then there was a property taxes for that. And by the time you did all that, I think it was like, $400 to $450. And so I was paying a $250 premium to just rent. And a $250 premium to rent was a deal. And then I also looked at the structure, and it wasn't like, I forget what it was, but it wasn't a concrete I don't know how they had a condominium without a concrete structure. Oh, interest rates for the tower is just the amount of money you have times the interest right here. and it is capped based on your research. So right now I have 15% interest. 15% of this, it's going to reach the cap, and the cap is whatever your research cap is. So you would just, instead of multiplying by 15, you multiply by 0.1511. And then if that exceeds your maximum interest, you get the max. That's all the interest formula is. And you don't have to calculate the interest rate. The interest rate is just whatever you see in this box, interest per wave. That's the interest rate. And honestly, Shinobis, when I do all this math and stuff like this, I feel like I'm just not enough of a risk taker. I feel like I'm just not enough of a risk taker as a person. That's a fundamental thing, like, I come down to, is I'm just not a risk taker. I'm a very boring person who lives a very boring life. And I'm totally okay with that, because an exciting life means you have lots of things going on, and most of the time that's not good. But a lot of it was just how I grew up, and I saw how important money was growing up, so money became the center of my universe. Because everything in my life growing up would have been easier had my parents had more money. And that's the truth. That was the lesson I learned from childhood, is the most important resource you have is money, so you better make sure you manage that well. Yeah, Arctic, I mean, there's a world where I bought the condo and could have resold the condo, and I could have made a lot of money on the condo. There is that world, but would the amount of money I would have made in capital gains on the condo offset? I mean, we're getting into the weeds at that point, right? Well, fortunately, it didn't go into a sinkhole. Because it's still there. It's still there. I don't know how much the condo I would have purchased, how much it would be worth now, right? Like, but again, like that comparison would have meant my life took an entirely different trajectory. And I would tell you right now, if I owned that condo, I wouldn't be at the job I'm at right now. I tell you that right now. Oh yeah, I need to get something to eat. Shoot, thanks for reminding me. Yeah, everything in life is there is no, I mean, all you can do is try to, you can never get the right answer. I hate that about life. But yeah, I probably should get something to eat before everything closes. I got a half hour. So see, you can't get me talking about this kind of stuff because I get carried away, because I wouldn't say I'm an overthinker. I try to make sure anything I think about, any decision like this, yeah, I don't call it always the wrong answer. What I say, Arctic, is no matter what you choose, you lose. Because that's the one thing that's always true, is no matter what you choose in life, you lose. Because you're always going to make the wrong choice. Always. You're never going to make the right choice. Yeah, here's the thing. Fix the tanks were not affected by black hole, and fixed primordial collapse, not doing the damage reduction. So that's going to be a big update for Little Tower. I don't know that it's going to change much for Big Tower. Oh, we got a milestone. We got 30 stones. You know, my thing with kids, the reason I was so against kids, if I knew I would have good kids, if I knew everything would turn out okay, I would have kids without a question. I can, to me, somebody that has kids, that's the biggest risk you could take in your life. Wasn't comfortable with taking on that level of risk, because to me, it's just a risk equation, right? Obviously, I have things that make me assess the risk differently. My brother passed away. What if I had a kid that passed away? How devastated would that be, you know? So I process the risk differently than a lot of people do. And and again, the kids thing is too, like, did I ever feel like I had a partner? Obviously not. That's why I sit here stream in the dark. Anyways, that's enough about that. I'll say this. I feel like there probably is a reality where I met a woman and we really got along, and the wife really wanted kids, and I was at a point in my life where I was more secure about having kids, I feel like there's a future where I feel like there's a potential future where if I met the right person at the right time in my life, I could see myself having kids. Gail, I'm almost there. I'm almost there, Gail. That's Gail. Gail, you're trying to. Gail, you're like, hurry it up, Zaerdin. You said you were gonna go. Usher me off the stage. Now we just switch back to my farm spec. We're just gonna try farming again. I'll try pushing another time. I'll go farm. That's all, folks. Yes, Gail just told me to leave. To get it going, Zaerdin. That's okay. We're getting closer. That's all, folks. All right, but seriously, if I had a wife, I wouldn't have to go get something to eat. Yes, Gail, that was perfect. That was perfect. That was perfect. But anyways, guys, like Gail said, as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support the channel. And if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask in the comments. And as always, thank you again. I hope you have a great day and happy farming. I'm gonna go get something to eat, guys. Thanks for everything. Listen to me ramble and all that. I hope you all had a great time. Good night. I hope so. I did play the Powerball. Maybe I'll get those odds. Good night.